case study in the book revolves around the rabbit god, Shen. Can you speak to the origin of the rabbit deity and the interesting ways that he's been reimagined for a contemporary audience?
Yeah, definitely. So this is a chapter that I really like because I'm a big fan of the rabbit god. For those who don't know, rabbit god is a ancient Chinese or god for LGBTQ plus people. So it came from a kind of classical 17th century story of a man who fell in love with another person but were executed because of his gay love. And when he goes to the underworld, the king of the underworld crowned him as the god, the rabbit god, blessing all the LGBTQ plus people. It's a beautiful story, but of course, I mean, the ancient classical text didn't cover much. I mean, it was only a couple of paragraphs. So what I found was that Asian diasporic and queer cultural producers are making interesting artwork using this story. For example, in chapter 1, I analyzed 3 artist work, including L.G. Jiang's work and Andrew Thomas Huang's work, as well as Scotty Sou's work. So they are Asian diaspora based in different parts of the world, in Melbourne, Australia, in Toronto, in Canada, as well as in LA, in the USA. But inevitably, they turn to the rabbit god story and reinvent the story. For example, in Andrew Thomas Huang's story, which is a film which you can find on the YouTube called Kiss of the Rabbit God. So Huang imagines the rabbit god actually to be a kind of fashionable young people visiting a Chinatown restaurant and then fall in love with a kitchen hand, a ordinary restaurant worker in a Chinatown restaurant, and then fall in love and inspired him to pursue his own true love. So this is a fascinating story about Asian migration experience in the USA and the living conditions of some of them, especially those who work in Chinatown restaurants, as well as a kind of bold celebration of queer desire, not necessarily drawing on symbols such as a rainbow flag and pride and so on, but drawing on the ancient Chinese story of the rabbit god. So the rabbit god became a kind of a way to empower them, a way to imagine the possibility of queer Asian identity, sexuality, and existence. I find this is a beautiful example. So by writing about those stories, I do not mean that there is this origin of queer Asian myth that everybody should go back to, but to say that here there is this kind of indigenous tradition. The tradition should be used, revitalized for contemporary purposes. Don't stick to what ancient God was, but what it can become for our own purposes, whether it's the purpose of writing about someone else's biography or articulate some contemporary concerns such as anti-Asian racism, or talk about issues such as labor politics. So in a way, I find those art works, I mean, innovative and interesting. I want to, in a way, celebrate those artworks as well as celebrate the queer Asian identity. So in a way, queer Asian identity, like the rabbit god, shouldn't stay the same. They should be reinvented and reimagined and fabulated and imagined in wildest way possible.